Welcome to my channel, where your adventure into the future starts right now. Step into a vibrant universe filled with groundbreaking technology, breathtaking alien landscapes, and exhilarating sci-fi narratives that challenge your imagination. From daring explorations of distant galaxies to haunting journeys through dystopian societies, we uncover the most captivating stories and innovative ideas that will shape the world of tomorrow. Subscribe today and join us on an incredible intergalactic voyage that promises to inspire and thrill. A sense of deep foreboding rippled through the vast expanse of space as a massive fleet of warships emerged from the darkness, their gleaming hulls reflecting the distant light of the nearby stars. The ships were part of the Galactic Empire, a powerful and ruthless coalition of alien races who had conquered hundreds of worlds across the galaxy. Their empire was vast, stretching across light years of space, and their forces were unmatched in their technological prowess. They had crushed countless civilizations beneath their boots, and their mission was always the same: expand their reach, dominate every species they encountered, and bring entire star systems under their control. For the Galactic Empire, Earth had been identified as a weak, vulnerable planet. The humans, a species that had only recently ventured into space, had appeared to be an easy target. Earth's technology was primitive by galactic standards, their militaries small and underdeveloped, and their infrastructure barely capable of defending against the most basic of invasions. The Empire's leaders had long discussed the eventual conquest of Earth, and now the time had come. They believed that the humans would put up little resistance and that their advanced fleets would be more than enough to sweep aside any defense that Earth might muster. The fleet's commanders were confident. They had conquered far greater civilizations than Earth, and their strategy was tried and true. A swift, overwhelming attack on the planet's major cities would destabilize the human governments and force them into submission. The humans, they believed, would cower in fear, offering no meaningful resistance to their superior forces. The Emperor of the Galactic Empire had decreed that Earth would fall, just as so many other worlds had fallen before it. As the fleet descended through the void, readying themselves to strike, the humans on Earth were blissfully unaware of the impending threat. Life on the planet continued as usual until the first signs of the attack appeared. Strange objects appeared in the sky, moving with unearthly speed, and reports of strange lights in the sky began circulating. Governments and military forces scrambled to investigate the mysterious phenomena, but no one could have anticipated the sheer scale of the threat that was coming their way. The Galactic Empire's fleet was formidable. Its warships were enormous, equipped with weapons of unimaginable power, capable of vaporizing entire cities with a single blast. The ships were heavily armored, built for deep space combat, and manned by alien species whose brutal military tactics were known throughout the galaxy. For most civilizations, the appearance of such a fleet meant certain defeat. The very sight of these ships instilled a sense of hopelessness in the hearts of all who saw them. The galaxy had learned to fear the Empire, and now it was Earth's turn to face their wrath. However, the humans on Earth had no intention of cowering in fear. They had faced adversities throughout their history: wars, plagues, famines, and they had always found a way to survive. There was a unique quality to humanity that set them apart from the countless other species the Empire had conquered: their unyielding will to fight. Throughout their history, humans had demonstrated an uncanny ability to adapt, to innovate, and, when necessary, to overcome the most overwhelming odds. But it was not just their ingenuity and resourcefulness that made them dangerous. It was the spirit that ran through them, the unbreakable drive to protect their world, their families, and their future. At first, humanity was slow to recognize the full scale of the threat. The Galactic Empire's fleet arrived without warning, their ships appearing over Earth's major cities with terrifying speed. The initial salvo of energy blasts sent shockwaves through the atmosphere, destroying satellites and knocking out communication systems. Buildings crumbled to dust as the invaders unleashed their firepower, reducing entire metropolitan areas to smoldering ruins. The Empire had calculated that, after a few quick, devastating attacks, the humans would fall into disarray. They expected the planet's military forces to crumble, their governments to collapse, and the survivors to surrender without a fight. But the Empire had misjudged humanity's response. They had failed to account for the fact that the human race, despite its vulnerabilities, had one trait that made it an extraordinarily dangerous adversary: a fierce sense of survival. When the first wave of destruction hit, panic spread across the globe. But it was not the type of panic that leads to submission. It was the kind of panic that ignited a spark of defiance. Around the world, people responded with a level of unity and resolve that the Empire had never seen before. The governments, despite their initial shock, quickly mobilized what military forces they could, scrambling to organize a defense against the alien invaders. But it was not just the governments that acted. Ordinary citizens, men and women, children and the elderly rallied to the cause. The human race had faced worse in its history, and they had never backed down from a challenge. This time would be no different. The first retaliatory strikes from Earth were primitive compared to the technological marvels of the Empire's fleet. Humankind's military capabilities were far behind those of the invaders, but that didn't stop them from trying. Humanity launched everything they had: conventional missiles, fighter jets, and even homemade explosives. The Empire's ships, with their advanced shielding and weapons, easily repelled the majority of the attacks. But something was happening on Earth that the invaders had not expected. Humans were learning quickly. They had always been innovative, and in the face of this existential threat, that innovation was accelerating. In a matter of hours, human scientists, engineers, and military leaders had begun to pool their knowledge and resources. Governments around the world, working together for the first time in history, began to share critical information. Scientists hacked into military systems and used the data to reverse engineer the technology of the alien invaders. Human ingenuity and perseverance began to shine through in ways the Empire had never imagined. Every piece of alien technology that humans recovered from the wreckage of the first wave was analyzed, studied, and adapted to Earth's defenses. The Empire's mistake was underestimating humanity's capacity to learn and adapt. They had assumed that Earth's technology would be no match for their advanced weapons, but what they didn't count on was humanity's ability to reverse engineer, modify, and improve upon what they were given. In just a few short days, Earth scientists had developed new technologies based on the salvaged alien tech. New weapons systems were created, including energy-based weapons capable of penetrating the shielding on the Empire's ships. As the days wore on, the humans' resistance grew more coordinated. Earth's militaries began to form alliances with civilian militias, tech innovators, and underground resistance groups. Cities that had once been destroyed by the Empire's fleet now began to rebuild, not just in terms of infrastructure, but in terms of strength. Humanity's newfound unity was a force that the Empire could not understand, let alone defeat. What had started as a battle for survival had quickly turned into an all-out war for Earth's future. The Empire began to feel the tide of battle shifting. Their initial confidence was fading. The human resistance, once thought to be hopeless, was now hitting back with devastating force. Each new attack, each new weapon brought them closer to breaking the Empire's stranglehold on the planet. The Empire's fleet, which had once seemed invincible, began to suffer significant losses. Human fighters, using a combination of speed, strategy, and their rapidly advancing technology, began to inflict serious damage on the once proud fleet. It wasn't long before the Empire's commanders began to realize that Earth was not going to be the easy conquest they had expected. The situation began to spiral out of control for the invaders. The human resistance was growing bolder, taking down ship after ship, and the Empire's leaders, once so certain of victory, were now in a state of panic. Their ships, once the pinnacle of military might, were now falling to Earth's growing technological prowess. The tide of war had turned, and the Empire could no longer afford to underestimate their adversaries. In one of the final decisive battles, Earth's military forces launched a full-scale assault against the Empire's flagship, a massive vessel that had been orchestrating the destruction of Earth's cities. Using a combination of human ingenuity, alien technology, and sheer willpower, Earth's forces launched a coordinated attack that caught the Empire completely off guard. A swarm of fighters, each armed with devastating new energy weapons, swarmed the flagship, bypassing its shields and disabling its power systems. The once mighty ship, so sure of its superiority, now found itself crippled, unable to defend itself from the relentless barrage of human firepower. The death blow came when human forces, using a combination of newly developed EMP weapons and precision-targeted strikes, disabled the flagship's remaining defense systems and caused a chain reaction in its power core. The ship, which had once been a symbol of the Empire's invincibility, exploded in a cataclysmic blast, signaling the fall of the Empire's domination over Earth. The Galactic Empire, which had thought Earth would be a mere footnote in their grand conquest, now found themselves retreating from the planet in disarray. Their fleet was in ruins, their forces decimated, and their plans for galactic domination dashed. The humans had not only survived the invasion, but they had completely annihilated their would-be conquerors. The Empire's arrogance had led to its downfall, and it would be a lesson learned across the galaxy: never underestimate humanity. In the aftermath of the battle, Earth stood victorious. The human race had faced an unimaginable threat, and, against all odds, had emerged not only unscathed but stronger than ever. The Galactic Empire, for all its might and technological superiority, had fallen before the indomitable spirit of humanity. The victory would echo through the stars for millennia to come, a reminder that no matter how overwhelming the odds, no matter how powerful the enemy, the human race would never back down.